Okay, start laying on your back, knees bent, flat feet, sit bone distance apart, near a wall if you have a flat one around because we're going to use it, but don't stress if you don't because it's not required. I don't even have a mat. So, knees are bent, flat feet, sit bone distance, arms are relaxed at your sides. Take an inhale, exhale, start to tilt your pelvis back into an imprint. Keep scooping, keep tilting so much so that your hips start to peel and lift, rolling up into a bridge, thud squeezing when you hit the top of that bridge, tip tops of those inner thighs aware like they're squeezing an imaginary ball, finding a focal point on the ceiling, nice easy neck and jaw, and then starting to roll it down, softening in the chest and sternum, shoulders relaxed at your sides, ribs and abdominals scooping and tilting, letting the tailbone drop and release into neutral, and then we go again. Pelvis tilts, belly button and ribs keep scooping and tilting, rolling it up to the top of your bridge, taking a couple deep breaths when you get there, in through the nose. Exhale, thinking, could I go higher? Could my thud squeeze more? Could the tip tops of my inner thighs squeeze that imaginary ball more? All happening while keeping the ribs and abs turned on, and then starting to roll it down. Relaxing in the shoulders, ribs and abs scooping, tilting through that imprint, releasing into neutral. We go 2 more times. Pelvis tilts, ribs and abs going down as the hips lift. Thud squeezing to push your hips to the top of your bridge, tops of the inner thighs working, ribs and abs turned on, not necessarily needing to go higher, but could that thud crease squeeze more? And then rolling it down. Shoulders heavy and relaxed. Ribs and abs keep scooping. Letting the glutes, the hips, the tailbone release and reach into neutral. It's your last time and you're going up for keeps. Pelvis tilts. Ribs and abs going down as the thud goes up. Rolling to the top of the bridge, doing that body check of arms and shoulders relaxed at your sides, chin lifted to your focal points to the ceiling, ribs and abs pulled in like an imprint, thud crease turned on, inner thighs turned on so the knees are in alignment with those second and third toes, and then you find that thud crease again, taking little pulses up for 8, 7, ribs and abs staying aware as you pulse for 4, 3, 2, last one, you pause at the top. Don't let that thud crease go as your knees open out to the sides an inch, and then you pulse them in with that imaginary ball, squeezing in for 8, 7, whether the inner thighs are opening or closing, that thud stays turned on for 4, 3, 2, last one, hold that imaginary ball, lower the hips an inch and pulse them up again for 4, thud squeezing 3, 2, last one, thud stays up, knees open out an inch, you squeeze the imaginary ball in for 4, tops of those inner thighs working, 2, last one, keep that imaginary ball, lower and lift twice, 2, keep it up as you open and close, 2, you alternate, lower, lift, open, squeeze, lower, lift, open, squeeze, thud up, inner thighs in, chest open, butt ribs closing for 4, and squeeze, 3, remembering to breathe, last one, you're gonna hold, and then start to roll it down, upper back, shoulders heavy at your sides as your ribs connect and roll you through that mid back, abs scooping to roll you through the low back, releasing into neutral. Arms are going to go up and back overhead. Knees are going to stay bent, flat feet, but they slide forward a few inches just so you're a little bit more open through the hips. And now we add some upper body. Ribs are going to connect as those arms float up to the ceiling. Nodding the chin, the ribs keep going down, flexing you forward and up to look between those inner thighs. Arms floating down at a hover about hip height. Low abs scooping into that imprint. And then lowering it down. Hips releasing to neutral as those arms stretch back overhead, and we've got a few more like this. Ribs going down as the arms go up. Nodding the chin, ribs go down to flex you forward and up the minute you can look between those inner thighs. Think head and shoulders are easy. Rib cage wrinkles lift you higher. Belly button sucks away from the t-shirt towards the spine just a little bit more, and then controlling it down. Hips releasing to neutral as the arms go back. We just have 2 more. like a teeter-totter. Ribs go down as the arms lift. Nodding the chin, but ribs taking over to flex you forward and up. Taking an exhale to suck the belly button in and slide the ribcage wrinkles forward. Controlling it down. Really letting those glutes and hips go. Last time we're coming up for keeps. Ribs go down to lift the arms. Nodding and flexing forward. How much can it be about the belly button and ribs scooping you into that imprint? Keeping your imprint. Right hand only goes behind the head, supporting the neck. And you take little pulses forward and up. For 8, 7. Right hand is there to make sure the neck and shoulders don't do too much work. 4. Low abs scooping. 3. Navel to the spine. 2. Last one. Stay lifted. Both hands go behind the head, supporting the neck. Can you deepen your imprint? Can your ribs pull you forward a little bit more? Right arm then reaches forward by the hip and you pulse again. For 8, 7. Breathing with every pulse. You exhale. Keep pulsing. Both hands behind the head. Elbows in your peripheral vision. It's like your arms are a hammock for your head as you scoop and you lift. 2. Last one. Pause. Staying lifted. Can you scoop the abs a little bit more? Pull the belly button in. Find one of those ribcage wrinkles in your shirt. Slide it forward. Both arms reach forward as well. And then you lower it down. Arms going up and back. Hips releasing to a neutral for a hot second. Leaving your head back. Your arms float right back up to the ceiling. As your arms go down at your sides on the mat, deepen your abs into another imprint. Head and shoulders are back. They're getting a break. But ribs and abs deepening that imprint you just worked on. One leg to tabletop. Keep scooping. Second leg comes up to meet it. When both legs are at tabletop, feet in about alignment with your knees, try and find that 90-degree angle. Don't move your knees closer to you, but deepen that imprint. Tilt that pelvis a little bit more. Your low back kicks in even for a second. You reset to this tabletop. Reset that imprint and tilt to the pelvis. When you're ready, we're just going for some simple toe dips. So you toe dip that right foot down to the floor, keeping that knee bent. And then you scoop in your abs so much that it lifts that right leg back to tabletop. Going to the left, ribs and belly button, tilting, scooping to stay turned on. And then you just deepen that tilt and that scoop to lift. You keep alternating in your own timing, knowing you don't have to stay with me, but using that breath. You can exhale on the down, the up, or both. I suggest using that exhale to lift so that air is blowing out as your abs suck in to lift your leg. You want to keep the imprint when that leg goes down. Of course you do. But making sure that you're deepening the imprint to lift the leg, to make sure that the low back doesn't lift the leg, is the main moment I'm worried about for you in your back. Ribs and abs keep scooping to lift. Do 1 or 2 more on each side just to make sure that you're even. When you're even on both sides, both legs are at tabletop. You left the legs at tabletop, but you deepened that imprint again. Not the chin. Fingertips and ribs sliding forward to flex you up to look between those inner thighs. Right hand only is going to go behind the head, supporting the neck. You're going to rotate a little bit to your left and take another set of pulses up. For 8, 7, looking left, but thinking right elbow to right thigh bone. 4, scooping. 3, 2, last one. Stay lifted. Go both hands behind the head. Rotate center. Rotate to your right. Reach your right arm out to straight, and then you pulse again. So you're looking and lifting right, but your left elbow is really going towards that left thigh bone. 4, scooping out that imprint. 3, 2, last one. Right hand goes behind the head, supporting the neck. You come center, stay center. Give me one more set of pulsing. 8, 7, if your knees need to come a little closer to you, they can, but scoop out those abs. Look at that belly button sink. 4, ribs to hips. 3, 2, last one. Stay lifted. Take one hand underneath each thigh. So when you lower your head, stretch your legs to the ceiling. A little flex, a little point, wiggle them around. Just give your hamstrings a little bit of love. And then you can hug your knees into your chest. Take a couple little rocks side to side. And then you're going to roll onto your side. Again, if you have space on a wall, awesome. But know that you can absolutely do this without the wall. You're going to lay on your right side. We're going to do both, so it really doesn't matter. But I'm going to lay on my right side first. Lining up against the wall. Knees bent with your feet up against the wall. Chin lifted, chest open. Top shoulder and hip. Sliding away from your ear. So that bottom right rib gets a little bit of a lift and mouse hole underneath it. You're not sinking into the floor. Top hand can rest in front of you, be along your thigh, whatever helps you stay stacked through the shoulders and hips. And then feet stay connected as you lift that top knee up. Simple clam to start. Left glute squeezing forward so you're not laying back into the wall. It really feels like you're lined up against it. Controlling that leg down, you go right back up. Exhale, you lift for 7. Bottom right rib staying lifted as that left glute squeezes. Making sure the act of lifting and rotating that thigh bone doesn't drop and collapse your spine. For another 4. Glute squeezes, then you lift 3. Finding the muscle you want to work even a little bit before you move. And now the next time that thigh bone rotates, it pulses for 8, 7. Glute and hips staying stable as that thigh bone moves. 2, last one, you pause. Foot's gonna come up to meet the knee and slide the leg along the wall. Again, you don't have to be right up against the wall. I want you to feel like when your heel is on the wall, it's just a little bit behind your hip. Left glute squeezing forward, left leg long, arm at your side or in front of you, ribs connected. All you're gonna do is keep that foot squeezing so the heel is pushing into the wall as you slide it up an inch, maybe 2, and you slide it back down an inch or 2. You only need to lift that leg as high as you can keep that right rib lifted and connected. So again, making sure that your body doesn't teeter-totter and collapse with the movement of the leg. Also making sure your thigh bone and knee are facing forward. You want to keep parallel. It's easy when you lift up to want to turn out a little bit. Not a bad thing, but chances are those muscles are already strong in your leg. The ones that keep you parallel and make you feel a little bit stuck, those are a little bit weaker. Those are the ones that we're going for right now. Next time your leg goes up those couple inches, you pause. Do you really feel the thud squeezing like you could push your heel back through the wall? Keep that feeling. Keep your knee facing forward, not up, and take little pulses up for 8, 7. You're almost there. I promise. Ribs and abs pulling. And don't forget about them. 4, 3, 2. Last one. Could the leg get longer for the last moment? It's there. Swing it forward and down to the mat. Little soft through the knee, letting that glute and hip release. You're going to keep your big toe resting on the floor, but you can just slide your leg away towards straight, hopefully increasing the stretch a bit. And then you soften and release it. Couple more of those before we do the other side as you reach, because that bottom leg might not have felt like it, and then you soften the top knee. It was working. It was stabilizing you. So when we get to the other side, it's already going to be a little tired. One more, and now this leg's going to have to stabilize you, so you want to give a little bit of love and stretch before it has to work again. And release. Roll it up, going directly to the other side. Laying on that left arm. Take your time to line it up. Knees bent, feet up against the wall, not laying back into the wall. That shoulder probably won't hit it at all, just feeling like you're lined up the length of it. Bottom left rib lifting, top shoulder and hip long, hand wherever, it doesn't mess with your alignment. Lifting that top knee into clam, right glute squeezing forward, ribs and abs pulling in. You lower it down and you lift right back up. Exhale for 7. Breathing 6. Glute squeezing 5. Every time that thigh bone rotates, the breath can remember ribs, abs, navel to the spine. So it's not just about that hip and leg. Next time you go up, we pulse it, still breathing for 8, 7. Ribs and abs in 4. Mouse hole aware. 3, 2. Last one, you pause. Foot comes up to meet the knee. It slides along the wall, like reaching, reaching, reaching. I didn't say it on the other side, but it is up to you. You can be pointed, flexed, or just relaxing your foot is what I tend to do. Because really, again, it's that thigh bone, making sure the knee doesn't turn out. Hip and knee facing forward like headlights. Foot squeezing to push that heel into the wall. And then you slide it up again, inch or 2, more than enough. And resisting down an inch or 2. Because you pushing back into the wall to get that big thud part of your glute to try and kick in, along with that side glute is the key. Side glute lifting the leg higher isn't necessarily working you harder, because then that bigger glute wants to turn off, and I want that guy to kick in. Pushing back as much as up. Making the leg long as it lifts to keep those ribs in your core connected. Squeezing the navel to the spine. Last one like this, because the next time you go up, it turns right into a pulse for 8, 7. For all the glute squeezing, the parallel knees, the ribs and abs pulling in. Can you relax your ear and head on your arm? 4, 3, 2. Last one, you pause, but as you're holding it there for one more second, could the leg get longer? Swing it forward and down onto the mat, letting it go. And then again, you can keep the big toe on the floor, but you just stretch the leg away. And then you soften the knee. Again, you breathe and stretch. And soften the knee. 2 more times, head and jaw relaxing on that arm. 1 more, you reach it away and let it release. You're going to come right up to 4-point kneeling. So supporting with that hand, hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Lift the chin, extend the spine. We're just going to go for a couple cats. So you're lifting up and out of those shoulders, and then those low abs scoop, rounding low. Mid, upper, head goes heavy. Let the neck, jaw, and shoulders release. Ribs and abs sucking up and in. And then head and tailbone are going to lengthen and extend. You get to lift the chin. You get to let that neck extend, but keep lifting out of your shoulders. We go one more time. Low abs, they're going to scoop and tilt. Rounding, letting that neck and jaw release as the ribs and abs suck up and in. Now keep your ribs and abs sucking up and in. Just float your head up. Just slide the shoulder blades back. When your focus is out and your shoulders are open, but you're still fighting for that imprint, don't release the imprint. We're going to plank. Slide one leg back to straight. The leg sliding back makes you neutral. Second leg goes back to meet it. Legs together or sit bone distance apart is up to you, because either way, those glutes and inner thighs are squeezing. I would always, if I had to choose, your hips be too high than too low, because it's a whole lot easier for me to say your hips are a little too high. Squeeze your butt, get that imprint feeling, tuck it out. Don't drop your hips. Find the oranges in your armpits. Think of pulling your chest forward, lengthening your spine. That's going to pull you into more of a neutral long spine. You don't have to dip those hips down or up. You have to sink the heels back. Pull the sternum forward. I'm very aware of how long I've left you here while I'm chatting away about plank. I promise. You have 2 more deep breaths in through the nose. Exhale, suck the belly button up like it's literally going to come away from the waistband of your pants. You just have 1 more. Take an inhale. Exhale, glute squeezing, abs zipping up and in. If your legs are together, take them sit bone distance apart, because we're going to shift back into a downward dog. Feet can walk forward, hands can walk back. Find a distance between hands and feet that works for you to sink into that downward dog. Now the tailbone does get to stick out and release, pushing into the heels of the hands to open the chest. You're going to lift both heels up. Bend your right knee, letting your left heel sink down. Hold it there for 3. Sticking the tailbone back and up to the sky as much as you're sinking the heel down. 2. On 1, you sink it even just a little bit lower before you lift and switch, going to the other side for 3. Pushing to the heels of the hands to open the chest. 2. Sticking that tailbone back and up. On 1, you sink it even lower, and then we just switch with a little breath and rhythm. 4. Lift and switch. 3. And 2. Last one, you're going to lift and lower both heels to be even. You're going to bend the knees as needed so you can walk the hands back to the feet. End up in a forward fold. Really let your neck and jaw hang heavy. Find a focal point behind you so you know you're letting all of that tension go and release. Think knuckles or palms of the hands a little heavier on the floor. Think if your knees are bent, you're going to stretch them just a little bit straighter, but still feel the weight in your big toes as much as your heels. And then you're going to bend the knees a few inches, forgetting about the hamstring stretch. Lift your abdominals up so much it starts to roll you up. As your hands go past your knees and your glutes can squeeze, then your knees can straighten. So again, the weight stays in your toes as you roll all the way up to standing. Quick, nice 20 minutes. You're all done. Thanks. Bye.